right, everyone. It's been a couple of months since we listened to an unsolicited episode. So we're gonna listen to the episode. Oh, I apologize for my dog. All right, you guys just may hear her some in the background when I'm talking. We put the sofa up against the window now, so she can now harass people as they walk by our house. It's a great form of entertainment for her. She loves it, so we just let her do it. Anyway, Um, this episode of Unsolicited is called the Adele episode. It's like an hour and a half long, so this is probably going to be a three-parter. I'm only going to cover about half an hour of the actual podcast because I don't know how much I'm going to talk during it. And unlike before, I'm going to give you guys the option of saying, like, let's keep watching this or skip this episode if it's really boring. So, and I am going to skip if they talk too, like, if they get real. I forgot, these guys tend to blather on a lot about like dumb stuff. So, we'll probably skip a good portion of that. So, I might end up covering about 45 minutes of the episode, depending on how much I skip. But I'll let you guys decide if you guys want a part two or if you want to just skip the episode because it's boring. And without further ado, let's get started.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Unsolicited Fatties Talk Back, the podcast where fat people talk back to celebrity weight loss. I'm your co-host, Deshaun Harrison, and I'm going to toss it over to Mikey, who's going to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mikey Mercedes.
Hi, I'm Jordan Underwood.
Hi, I'm Brian Guffey.
And I'm Caleb Luna.
And we're the Fatties.
Famously fat.
And that's the gospel truth.
That was so cute.
Very accurate.
Deshaun, I loved this intro. I thought it was really nice.
So perky.
So, just to give you all a quick non-column episode disclaimer, this episode, we're going to do something a little bit different. Instead of doing a column or a response to a column, we've decided to have a chat about celebrity weight loss, specifically around Adele. We know she just came back with her latest album, and there's been a lot of talk about her weight and her weight loss. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. This is the first of many episodes where we will be switching up the format, including answering listener questions. So please send us your questions at unsolicitedftb@gmail.com. That's unsolicitedftb@gmail.com. And at the end of this episode, we'll repeat that again. But for now, let's pass it on over to Mikey to head us into our first segment.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, so we are now in December, and I don't know about you guys, but there's something about the holiday season and all of its festive treats that really puts me in a cheerful mood. So I think it would be nice if we talked about our favorite holiday season hot drinks. Who wants to start us off?
All right, I'm only going to include like 2 minutes of this chit chat, and then I'm going to cut out a good portion of this. I'm going to listen to it just to kind of fill you guys in if anything important was said, but it wasn't worth like including the audio for it. But for the most part, I think they're just probably going to be talking about their drinks for about 20 minutes. So we'll just see how it goes.
Volunteers tribute. Call me Katniss Everdeen.
Okay, Katniss.
All right, Katniss, go ahead.
So I love hot chocolate. And anytime I make hot chocolate, I have to sing the song from Polar Express by Tom Hanks. It's just, hey, we got it. Hot chocolate. Like, it's just a great song. And it's like it's the perfect like little theme song.
Can you do that again?
Exchange.
Can you just do it one more time?
Hey, we got it. Hot chocolate. It's like perfect.
Never in my life have I heard of this song.
So,
I'm 100.
are you serious?
No. Okay, but Polar Express is scary because of like Uncanny Valley. You know?
No. What? So, what I'm learning right now is that Caleb has.
So just like a little aside, I never saw Polar Express. Like, it came out I think when did Polar Express come out? Because I feel like I was in my I'm a big kid, I don't like baby shit era. Let's see, 2004, which means I was 13. So yeah, I hit the I'm not interested in little kid stuff. Um, so I never saw Polar Express, but I kind of understand what I think it was Jordan that was like the uncanny valley because there was also like I don't know, I kind of agree with her there because it does have an uncanny valley effect. But I'm curious your opinions on the movie. Were you too old when it came out to be interested in it, and do you think there's an uncanny valley aspect to it?
Never watched Pole Express, which really hurts my heart. And Jordan is afraid of Pole Express, which also really hurts my heart. But it doesn't matter. It's okay. We're gonna have like a unsolicited FTB Fatties watch Pole Express, like a little a little watch party. But no, I love hot chocolate. Right, I love hot chocolate, and I like to make it. I don't use whole milk. I only drink almond milk, and please, Mikey.
How dare you bring that nut juice into
Nut
this secret
juice?
space?
I cannot. Well, I do
I'm
love
not
nuts.
afraid
So,
of
I
it.
love my
I
nut
love
juice. Come on. Woo!
me either, Caleb.
Oh,
Me either.
Almond.
You're
Like,
annoying.
I don't care.
I hate it here.
But yes, so I love it. And also a few years ago I discovered white hot chocolate and it became one of the only white things in the world that I actually
Oh
like.
my god.
Except for the Polar
It's
Express.
it's so good. No, not through the Pole Express.
I'm dying.
It was at like
I don't mind listening to this, but I really don't have anything to say, and I feel like this is just going to continue on for a period of time. So I'm gonna go ahead and save you guys from listening to their nonsense, and we'll come back when maybe they actually get into the topic at hand. All right. So we actually only had to deal with about 15 minutes worth of a pointless conversation on like favorite drinks, and there was discussion of what's best milk and stupid shit, but otherwise we're just moving on. And they said now they want to pivot to their main point, so I'm going to start playing it here, and hopefully they are actually getting to their point and they don't get sidetracked.
Segment to talk about Adele and Adele's and celebrity weight loss in general. So Deshaun, do you want to give us a little bit of context sort of behind this conversation we're going to have? And I know it isn't just Adele, but Adele is the most latest example of this trend we seem to see with celebrities and weight loss, especially fat
Yeah.
celebrities and weight loss.
No, literally, yeah. I think that this is going to be so interesting because just the other day I was like, so not many people know this about me, but I'm obsessed with Kelly Clarkson. I love her. And I was like listening to music from her the other day because I'm in the process of making a Kelly Clarkson playlist because I love her that much. And I was like looking up pictures of her and I forgot how much ridicule she got for being fat in public space and like her body changing. And so I was like, this is so wild and so fucked up. And then I got the text about us doing the Adele episode and I was like, wow, fat white women, a great topic of conversation. So
It's honestly the only type of white women I want to talk about.
I mean, and only partially. So
Yeah, that only goes so far.
But yeah, so the context behind this for all of you who may, like be unaware or, be Patrick Star under a rock, Adele has come back into the public recently with new pictures of herself after having lost weight. And, she's been celebrated for honestly for over a year now because of that. And in the last few weeks, she's released her album 30. And so much about, interviews that she's done. She's been in several, Vogue issues and other interview spaces. She's done interviews, like an exclusive interview with Oprah. And in all of these conversations, she's had to talk about her weight and her weight loss because it has become so central to her work and who she is. You know, there was an article written by Page Six that was headlined, Adele still has that voice despite her weight loss or something like that. A lot of coverage around her and her weight loss has happened. So we're going to talk about, you know, weight loss in general, and particularly how it sort of affects fat folks at large, no pun intended, when when it's a celebrity, right? Because celebrities end up having a monopoly over the conversation and also end up, you know, being centered in conversation around issues that have a much larger impact on poor fat folks and non-celebrity fat folks. So let's get into it, y'all. Let's talk about it. How are we feeling about Adele and the coverage around her and, you know, just all of that?
Can I just say that I've literally, and this is obviously not a coincidence, I've literally never seen as many pictures of Adele as I have in the past few weeks. I mean, there's been, right, so her album came out, but there's also been like a concentrated media sort of circus around that, right? Because the album is not just the album. The album is, it's a representation.
So I'm sure she's gonna argue that Adele has all this coverage now because she's thinner. And while that was part of it, it also seems like part of it was just an entire media campaign that she worked her weight loss into since it was such a drastic change. So that what in itself was something to talk about, which then she could plug her new album at the time. Like that whole thing, I think was part of it. And to a certain extent, I mean, I understand that celebrities are in the spotlight, so they're going to be talked about. There's going to be people that have opinions on just about every aspect of their life. But at the same time, part of me is like, what she does with her body is has nothing to really do with you. And I know that that's kind of I know that's like talking about it as though it's in a vacuum and it's not. But to a certain extent, I guess I just never really got into celebrity culture. Like I remember even trying as a way to like fit in with my peers and stuff, and it's kind of like what I thought I was supposed to do when I was younger, but I just have never gotten into celebrity culture. I have never had a band or a celebrity that I followed so hard that I got so invested that I gave two shits about what they did. Like, don't get me wrong, when Britney was losing her shit all those years ago, yeah, I followed that a little bit, but it's not like I was like super invested. You know, like when I mean, and when I'm talking about her losing her shit, I'm like talking I think it was pre-conservatorship. It's when she attacked the car with the umbrella and she was kind of having a mental breakdown. Now, granted, I was like a teenager at the time, so for me this was just kind of a spectacle with no real context. But like that was the most celebrity focused thing that I ever followed. And I just, apart from that, like, I just was never one to get super invested in celebrities. So this idea of, oh, this celebrity has lost a bunch of weight and I'm so affected by that, I just don't understand it. Do you guys feel this way? Or have you guys been like really invested in celebrities that when something happened, and I'm not talking about them dying, I'm talking about them doing something like physically for themselves, maybe they, or like a ad campaign that they were part of or whatever, that like just really upset you or anything? Was there anything like that for you ever? I just don't get it. I don't get the investment in celebrity lives the same way. I think there might have been one other thing where I watched the royal wedding when it happened. Like I stayed up really late to watch the royal wedding. I don't know if that's really the same thing though. But like that's the extent of it. And I'm always kind of thought that this overinvestment in celebrities was just kind of, and influencers and stuff was kind of overblown. But as I've gotten older and I've seen how swept up people get in this stuff, I'm realizing like maybe I'm the odd one out, or is this like the loud minority? I would really like to hear your opinions on this one because I'm just like, why are you so invested in what a celebrity does? You know?
of her turning over a new leaf, her divorce, blah, blah, blah. But then along with that divorce and the album and the themes in the album of loss, of grief, of trying to start over again, there is this secondary narrative that is completely around her being a better, stronger person. That is absolutely a reflection and a play off of her weight loss. And I think it's just so telling that, I can't really say whether or not Adele herself understands or is party to the orchestration of the media focus around her weight. Like, there's no way for me to know that. But there are very specific messages that have been communicated through some of her interviews. For example, I'm thinking of the one that she did for Vogue recently, and they're talking about what they've called her year of anxiety, right? And part of the way she got through that year of anxiety was time spent in the gym. And she talks about sort of when she's working out, she doesn't have anxiety, and that she wanted to make her body physically strong so that and this is a direct quote. She says, if I can make my body physically strong and I can feel that and see that, then maybe one day I can make my emotions and my mind physically strong. And she discusses having back issues, having had slip discs, having had a C-section. And then there's also, this is paired with her very specifically saying that it was never about losing weight and that it was about getting stronger physically and mentally. But it's really notable that in order to be stronger physically and mentally, that's inseparable from the way she has to shed this weight, the way she has to get rid of this weight, the way that, like, with her divorce and her emerging after a long period of time spent away from the public eye, she's coming back with this, like, quote unquote revenge body, right? Like, she's smaller, she's thinner, and now everyone's like, oh my God, Adele is that girl, oh my God, look at Adele, she's so beautiful. And we're supposed to believe that now, because her visuals match up with, like, the talent, the raw talent that she has, that she's somehow a better person, a better artist. And, like, the way that
So I feel like there's some conflation here. There is a bit of celebratory that's going to happen. It's going to happen with any glow up, like not just weight loss. Weight loss was just a part of it for Adele, but when, like, I think, again, I didn't follow this very carefully or anything when it happened, and I don't really care now. But, like, I think Adele's former husband was, like, kind of an asshole, wasn't he? And so when she divorced him, and then she has this kind of period where she's taking care of herself and she reemerges and she's lost weight and she's kind of had this, she's stronger, she's had this kind of glow up, she's clearly happier. The public is going to celebrate that. It's not necessarily just in the fact that, oh, she lost weight, let's celebrate the weight loss. It's celebrating the clear new state of mind that she has that is reflected in her physical self. Everyone likes a revenge story, and in this case, her revenge story was emerging better than she was in the relationship, as also kind of a signal, be it subtly or whatever, that he kind of brought her down, and now that she's cut off that dead weight, she can glow. Like, it's this, to me, that would be the more general message of the narrative, rather than, oh, she lost weight, therefore she's a better artist now. No, she was already a good artist. And now she's had this glow up and she's clearly happier, meaning that she can be a better artist not because of her looks, but because of the freedom that is reflected in her new appearance. The appearance is a byproduct of what is clearly an improved mental state for her. If she hadn't lost the weight, people would have noted something else. She could have changed her hair, she could have changed her clothing style, she could have changed any number of things. Weight loss is one of those things that happens. Like, maybe she ate for comfort and so she wasn't doing that anymore, because she didn't have a reason for her anxiety to be triggered by her ex-husband. Maybe her ex was toxic. Maybe there's like 1,000 different ways that this weight loss could have been manifested. And even if it was a way of her losing this weight as a revenge body situation, that's her business. I don't really understand how weight loss is any real different from a haircut in this situation. Am I wrong?
Compounds on the whole like post divorce year of anxiety narrative is just it's all very calculated and it's so frustrating.
Oh my
It's Hollywood. Like she's in the public eye. Of course there's a level of calculation to this. Let's not be stupid. It was framed in a way like she could the whole weight loss thing could have been calculated. That's a possibility. I'm not going to say that it wasn't. Like, no, there's no way that was what happened. Not at all. No, it could have very well, the whole weight loss thing could have been a way for her to present this, oh look, it's new year, new me, fuck you. um and I'm going to exemplify that in this weight loss, and then we'll reemerge with my new album. And like, it could have totally all been calculated, but what it was selling wasn't her weight loss, it was selling the story of rebirth. And the rebirth was not personified, but like emblematic, um by way of weight loss. It, to me, that was what I always got. And again, I didn't follow Adele that closely, so I'm not gonna lie, I could be off the mark. But even the way they're talking about it right now, this was her year of anxiety, that she wanted to get stronger, that she wanted her mental health to be stronger. She just went through a divorce. This is the rebirth after a bad relationship that so many people can relate to. And by having this symbol, using her weight loss as this very visual representation of that, is a, even if it was calculated, was the way to sell her album. She's an artist, she's selling her album. Of course, there's a level of calculation to how that's marketed. Whether the weight loss was done intentionally for that marketing plan, or whether she had lost the weight and they decided to utilize that weight loss as a way to market her new album, it doesn't really matter. And it should, to a certain extent, be expected. She's selling something. So there's going to be a level of calculation to how it's marketed.
know that it's a lie too, like because there was an interview that her no dad asked if I follow this, I have followed this because Adele was no okay, it's a lie because when the first picture came out of her being skinny, her trainer did an interview where this trainer said that Adele was eating 1,000 calories a day. So bullshit, it wasn't about weight loss. Bull fucking shit.
1,000 calories.
If it was 1,000 calories a day, sounds, unless she's maybe really short, but I don't think she is. 1,000 calories a day sounds extreme regardless. I don't know how true that is, but even if it was about the weight loss, let's say the whole thing was about weight loss, and I think if she did indeed only do like 1,000 calories a day, that's getting into some uncomfortable territory for me. However, the weight loss itself, if we're divorcing it from the way in which she lost weight, especially since that is unverified, or at the very least we think that maybe she had a more extreme but not dangerous diet, the way I think that, 1,000 calories is like really towing the line there, if not crossing the line. I would prefer 12 to 1,300, but that's me. If you're gonna go like heavy duty with the weight loss, personally, I think I'm really struggling, but I want to get down to 800, and not 800, 1,800, 1800 calories a day, because I think that's a reasonable number for me. It's just a matter of getting there. But if it was about the weight loss, that's her business. It's her body. Like, I understand that some people feel like celebrities are role models, and they do clearly have very big influences on cultural zeitgeist and trends and all of that. Like, I get that. At the same time, they are people, and this again feels like we're crossing into a body autonomy conversation. Just because some girls see her as a role model, and she lost this weight, let's say she lost it in an unhealthy way, that is still up for the parents to have a conversation about how she lost the weight and have the conversation with their young girls about this. I just don't believe in placing it all on the celebrity. Because if she wanted to lose weight for herself, that is kind of her business. That's just me, though. I still think like I think we put a little too much emphasis on what influencers and celebrities are doing. Like there is a level of personal accountability you have to take into consideration here, because it's still your job to make those decisions for yourself. Just because a celebrity or an influencer doesn't mean that you have to. Like let's say an influencer goes to Mall of America and is like, I have $20,000 here to spend at Mall of America and I'm gonna spend it all in one day. And you are somehow like really captivated by this concept. And so you take out a $20,000 loan to do the same thing because you're an idiot. That's your fault for being an idiot. It's one of those things where it's like, if you're gonna copy a celebrity, like if the celebrity inspires you to lose weight, I really don't see how that's an issue as long as you're doing it healthy. Like it's not a big deal. That's everyone's allowed to do what they want with their own body. But let's say you see a celebrity lose weight and you're like, I want to lose that weight. I want to lose it really fast. So I am going to starve myself for however long to lose that weight. You took it too far. You took it too far. You entered an unhealthy mindset, and to a certain extent, you kind of have to deal with getting yourself out of that. Uh, that doesn't mean that it was the celebrity's fault for inspiring you. You know?
1,000 calories a day.
Adele went on record in this Vogue interview that Mikey's referencing. I believe it was Vogue British, not American Vogue. But in one of those Vogue interviews, she did too. She went on record saying that a lot of the trainers who went on record talking about her were not her actual trainers. I don't believe that though, because Adele was also quoted years ago when she first came out, like when she first started losing weight after 25, where she named that she was doing this so that she could be around for her son, to watch her son grow up. Right.
No, I remember that interview too.
Yeah,
that was so
exactly.
fucked.
So,
Such incredibly coded language.
Right, exactly. So it's like, I think that there's something very specific with regards to media training that has happened in this sort of era where she's moving like through her album release, because she knows, her team knows, they all know that there's no way for her to do this album release without talking about her weight loss, right? Like, because fat folks don't get to be more than our bodies even after we've lost our weight, right? Like, and I think that that's one of the biggest things that has always been important to me to center in these conversations, which is why I made the critique of the way that folks responded to Lizzo when they thought that she was doing a weight loss juice cleanser or whatever the fuck, because, the idea is there's no way for you to exist righteously as a fat person even after you've lost weight for as long as you are supposed to represent other people. And I think that that's most true for those of us, as all of us on here can attest to it in some degree, when you're hyper visibilized, right? Because your body is no longer your own. You're a representation of other people. And so I have always tried to hold a particular level of care for how I talk about, especially women, especially Black women, who have, moved through weight loss in the public eye, because there's so little they can do to avoid being ridiculed, right? You will be ridiculed as a super fat person, and you will be ridiculed as someone who was once fat who's now thin. And I think what matters most to me is how you talk about your body and how you talk about fatness after you've lost that weight. Because that separates to me the people who have a fat politic from the people who were only ever interested in representationalist politics, which are always already limited, right? And that has been like a really big, like, frustrating thing for me. All of you know, I love music. And recently I've been having a lot of feelings around Jasmine Sullivan. She's one of my favorite artists ever. And she, to me, objectively, has just released one of her, or not one of, the worst project in her discography. It's not a bad project, but it's not like her other albums have been significantly better. But she has been engaged in a very particular way, right? Where now she's gotten so much notoriety. She's, Grammy nominated. She's winning Soul Train awards. She's, she's in conversations that she was never in before, that she was never part of before. She's on Times Square billboards that she's never been on before. Like these big accolades that she's never experienced. That to me that are not divisible from her weight loss. And she named that she lost weight because she went on this journey with her mom. Her mom is battling cancer, and she went on this journey with her mom to support her. And the goal was never about weight loss, but to support her mom. And in the process, she lost weight, which I fully understand and respect. And I have so many feelings about the way that now she's able to experience a particular level of success because of that weight loss and be seen, right? Now you're actually like engaged as someone who is a being, who's a living, breathing being, and not just, a body with whose sole purpose is to, put on a show. It's minstrelsy in so many ways.
Well, we saw the same thing happen with Jennifer Hudson, right? Like
exactly. So it's a heartbreaking sort of to me, it's a continued state of contradiction because anti-fatness is illogical. So there's no way to make a logic out of the ways that people respond to our fat bodies. But it's like I feel like I'm living in a heightened state of contradiction because on one hand, I'm holding the space for them to do with their bodies what they will because they should have that right.
Okay, everyone, sorry for the awkward cut. Something happened and my recording session just kind of closed. I was able to salvage the audio that I'd done up to this point, but I don't know like exactly where it cut off, so there might be a minute or two overlap. I'll try to cut it out in post, but just if there's any extra there, you know why. But let's go ahead and try to finish listening to the rest of his point.
Hudson, right? Like
Exactly. So it's a heartbreaking sort of to me it's a continued state of contradiction because anti-fatness is illogical. So there's no way to make a logic out of the ways that people respond to our fat bodies. But it's like I feel like I'm living in a heightened state of contradiction because on one hand I'm holding the space for them to do with their bodies what they will because they should have that right. That's what we're fighting for. And we all know that weight loss is not something that exists in a vacuum, and nor is it divisible from anti-fatness ever.
Okay, I don't know if that was part of what was before and I just missed it, but what you mean weight loss isn't divorced from anti-fatness at all ever. See, this is like I at least am happy that he can say, or maybe they can say that people can do with their bodies what they will, and they want to hold space for that, and apparently that's what they're fighting for. And the issue is that you're saying there's a contradiction there because you want to allow people to do what they want, but then you say that weight loss can't be divorced from anti-fatness ever. And I think that is the crux of the issue with the FAs and the anti-FAs in a lot of ways, is that you view all weight loss, all forms of weight loss, as something that is inherently anti-fat. And the issue with that is that by viewing it as inherently anti-fat, you are putting yourself into where they are anti-you because you identify as fat. And therefore, that's why people's weight loss personally offends the people in the fat acceptance community. And that is the issue. See, the thing is that I probably wouldn't have much of a channel. I don't really enjoy dunking on people that are living their lives and are just fat. That's not really my. I don't enjoy that. Something that I do enjoy is pointing out people with their ridiculous victim complexes as well as people passing judgment on others and then saying that you shouldn't pass judgment on them. And this is the issue, is there's a lot of for me but not for thee in the fat acceptance community. And I'm glad that he said, or they said, that um you know, people can do with their bodies what they will, and that's, you want them to be able to do that, and that's great. But the issue is that you're viewing it as a contradiction because you also view it as inherently anti-fat, and it's not. But let's go ahead. We have a few minutes left before we reach our like third of the way marker, so we're gonna go ahead and listen a little bit more.
And watching people engage these folks, including Adele, in the ways that they have, is just really weird. Like there was a black British person on Twitter who was talking about how Adele was always celebrated for her body, and their source was that she was. They used the fact that she was like celebrated for her wingtip eyeliner, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, are we really gonna say like
as if that isn't just another reiteration of like people telling fat people you have
you're
such
pretty
a good
for
face,
a fat face?
you have such a pretty face.
Like that shit was so sick to me. So it's just such an interesting thing to watch.
Oh, yeah,
I'm sorry,
I
go
was
ahead, Caleb.
like, it's frustrating to me. I mean, there's many aspects that are frustrating to it, but like, I didn't like whatever. I'm not in the habit of like commenting on like people's bodies changing. It doesn't. I just like don't value that or pay attention to that as much as I can. Obviously, I like saw that she lost weight, but I was like, okay, whatever. Like, but it was so hard to like engage her album, as Mikey was saying, because it was so wrapped up in her divorce and the weight loss that followed it, even without knowing all the details that Mikey had brought in. Like, I knew that she had gotten a divorce. This was her like breakup album, and also it coincided with her weight loss. And I remember when that first picture of her dropped, Deshaun, you tweeted something like, I hope she's okay, because weight loss is so often times the result of depression or illness or something like that. And to see her get celebrated was really challenging. Yeah. And then and similarly, when her video was dropped, everybody was freaking out about it. Like, Twitter was like exploding again, like Mikey was saying, like in this way that I've never seen people really celebrate Adele before. And so I watched it. I started watching it, and I was just kind of like laughing to myself. And I was like, well, I'm glad that her like aesthetics didn't change, because it's still like black and white. She's still like in these like sort of like dark, shapely dresses. Her body wasn't really highlighted. And then like halfway through the video, or not even that, it like goes it shifts the color, and that felt like such a progress narrative that felt so shitty and frustrating. And it also, like, I think,
Okay, if I can cut in there though, you say it's black and white and then it opens up to color. And while this was wrapped within her weight loss, it was also wrapped in with her divorce. And I would be willing to bet money, like serious money, without looking it up or anything, I'd be willing to bet money that that shift from black and white to color was the shift of her being down in her, maybe it was a toxic relationship that led to divorce, or a toxic marriage that led to divorce or whatever, and then with the divorce she's free and there is color back in her life now. That is what, and that is a progress narrative. Like, it just, oh my god, just because her weight loss is a feature doesn't mean that the whole album is about her weight. I love how they are, of the two, we have this major weight loss and we have the divorce. They're the ones that are prioritizing the weight loss over the divorce, in terms of like what's clearly a metaphor within the video of like better outlook and better mental health. They are the ones that are putting weight loss as like the primary metaphor in there, instead of the divorce. Am I in cuckoo town? What the hell? Like, honestly, like, you're You guys are the ones that are putting weight loss on this pedestal of everything that we've heard. And I didn't even hear that much about Adele when it happened because I just don't follow celebrities. But even from their description of everything, I would say that there is still this primary focus on the divorce and the weight loss as a byproduct and the weight loss as an emblem of that divorce. It is a visual representation of like shedding unwanted weight in this for like she literally shed weight, but then she also shed the weight of her husband that she didn't want to be with anymore. So like to me, it would all go back to the divorce with the weight loss being more of a side note. And while people may have talked about the weight loss more than like necessarily I would have, because the weight loss was this big symbol of getting out of a relationship she didn't want to be in anymore, and she's having this divorce, so she has this kind of revenge body and she has this whole thing. It is still, even talking about it in that perspective, talking about wanting to be there for her kids or whatever, the weight loss is a side note. She was getting healthy for her kid. She was prioritizing herself, which maybe she hadn't done in a while because she was in this marriage when she was prioritizing her husband. So now she's prioritizing herself, and the weight loss is a byproduct of that. Um, she's like all of this to me still goes more back to the divorce than it does the weight loss. The weight loss is a symbol for the divorce, not the other way around. So, like, I find it interesting that they are so targeted on the weight loss in this whole thing that they're talking about. And maybe she did just want to lose weight because she wanted to do that for herself. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's none of your goddamn business. But even in the way of that they're talking about the music video, to me, still centered on the divorce, not the weight loss. Am I wrong? Does that do if you have more context and you followed this more closely? Was it really all about her weight loss and not how the weight loss was she was unable to lose the weight because she had the divorce, and she's prioritizing the weight loss is like a symbol of her self-care. Am I wrong? Am I completely off the mark?
The song, part of that I think is Easy on Me, especially, is a song about maturity and growth. And so, like, the progress is implied in that way. But it's like, come on, like, there's no way to live in this culture and see that and not conflate those things so heavily. Um, I'll also quickly say that, like, I could not make it through this.
No, but the maturity from the divorce, like she, oh my god, you're like, all celebrities can't separate that, honey. You're the one that's reading into that.
Album. I found it so boring.
I didn't listen to it. I listened to the first 30 seconds and then I shut it
I
off.
just couldn't make it.
I'm so sorry, Adele.
I know.
Oh, I loved it.
I think that for me, it's because I was like listening to it, like made me mad because of
No,
everything.
I've listened to every other album of hers and really loved it, and I couldn't find anything in this one. And
I think you guys had a problem with it because she was thinner, not because of the music. Just from everything that they've said, what influenced you to like it or not like it is the fact that she is her weight. That is a you issue. You are the one that has made this all about weight. The diehard Adele fans, I doubt gave like gave a shit that of how her music sounded based on her weight. Like, well, when she was heavier, it sounded like this, and when she lost weight, it sounded like this. So this is clearly better because she lost. Like, it's such a circus, mind circus to try to get there. Like, what the fuck? We're about a third of the way through. I'm gonna stop it here because I've been recording for a while and there was already a hiccup, but part of me thinking like it would definitely be worth to cover the rest of this, but I'm gonna leave that up to you guys. This would be a three-parter, so I'm gonna let you guys decide whether we continue this or not. Let me know in the comments down below. So I don't really have anything um like what I'm watching or what I'm reading this week because I'm mostly focused on chores around the house and doing like I've been systematically going through my house for deep cleans. So I didn't really read or watch much of anything today. I didn't even really listen to podcasts while I cleaned. I was very much, it's just been kind of chaotic and very responsibility focused week for me, so I don't really have a whole lot to share on my general rambles. But I do want to plug, I have a different um, Twitter that I've been using more recently. It's my sweepstaking Twitter. I've really gotten back into sweepstaking. I've won like a variety of things. I won like $100 worth of free dog food. I won an album, a banjo um, thumb pick, a month of like this banjo playing course. I was entering for an actual banjo and I got second place, so I don't have a banjo. So I've just been kind of I've watched a few since I won it and it was free. Um, I watched it and I held on to some of that stuff. What else did I win? I won a $10 Amazon gift card as well as a book. I also won a middle grade book that I'm going to read through real quick and see if I can donate to one of the libraries that I used to work at. I won a Lego set. It's like an off-brand Lego set, but it's really fun. It's like a little music box with swans on the top. But that's all I can remember of what I won. That was all just in July. And anytime I enter a sweepstakes, they often have you post links on Twitter. So if you're interested in following this Twitter that I have, it goes sweeping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as the ad. Uh, and it's under Elizabeth Drake because that is my sweepstaking name because I do not want people to like random people to know my name. Uh, if I don't have to, it's one of those various safety things that I do just to be on the safe side. Um, but I post on here anything that I am entering to win, anything that I'm required to post for an entry into the sweepstakes. So you can find sweepstakes links on my tweets and go find like check out the sweepstakes if it's something that you like. I do mostly tech stuff, pet stuff, uh, musical instruments, then some appliances, like I have a Ninja Creamy thing that I'm entering, as well as the Oculus 3 files under tech. Um, the only thing I don't post a whole lot of is trips, mostly because right now they're not anywhere I'm really interested in going. It's like Florida and Nashville, Tennessee for some reason. That's like the big ones right now. Uh, but on occasion I do post like things you can do to enter for trips as well. So if you're interested, if that sounds like anything that you're interested in, you are welcome to follow me on Twitter at sweeping123456. But just wanted to put that out there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you want a part 2 of this uh, podcast episode. And I'm going to leave it here for today. But thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.